Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Razzle Dazzle. It's been quite the week. I had to take Apollo to the vet. He's having some urinary issues. We had to put him on a different diet. I guess with male cats, their urethra is a lot smaller. And when they tested his urine, he had, is it calcium and phosphorus? And they think it was from the food that he was eating. So we had to get him some medicine and put him on a different food. Because what happens is it crystallizes in the bladder, kind of like a sand, is how the veterinarian described it. And it can block the urethra, and it hurts to pee. And I noticed he was having some issues. So we got him in there. We got him all taken care of and got his medicine. So he's been a little grumpy. He does not like taking pills, that's for sure. But he's okay. Yeah. I was getting food from Costco, and it was a Kirkland brand of cat food. So, yeah, we're just going to go with the best. I think it's the Science Hills. So, we got to do what we got to do to keep our pets healthy. So, I wanted to get on here because we're going to talk about allergic reactions and skin irritations when it comes to working with different types of yarn and things like that. Because there's a lot of people that are allergic to different things, and it's really hard to pinpoint. And I was doing research too, and coming up with my own different opinions on it and things that we can do to try and prevent some of the skin irritations when you work with different types of acrylic, because all acrylics are different, and it is a man-made chemical yarn, and they put different chemicals in each different type of acrylic to get a certain type of effect. So it's pretty scientific. And I've had sensitivities to different types of acrylic, mostly just skin irritations. When you work with it for a long time, your fingers can get itchy depending on how long you're working with it. So sometimes I use lotion. And this is the type of lotion I use. They do have an unscented that doesn't have fragrance in it. Like, I'm usually okay with using fragrances, but I always make sure when I'm done with a project that I wash it. Washing is very important. So yeah, sometimes I do use lotion, and that kind of helps if you get that itchiness in your fingers. And sometimes too, like your hands will start to build up to where you get like calluses if you crochet a lot, which kind of helps too. Even when I work with some of the big twist, sometimes I get a little itchy. I'll just put some lotion on and I'm okay. But everybody's different. Like some people are super sensitive to things. I'm going to say I'm kind of in the middle. I'm kind of a medium. And you just kind of have to figure out what's best for you when you go to use different types of yarns, whether it be acrylic or like an animal fiber, because we all have our own things. Like I'm allergic to some of the detergents. I can't use Tide. I'm allergic to Tide and I'm allergic to OxyClean. OxyClean is real bad for me. I break out into a rash if I use OxyClean. So I can't use OxyClean. But as far as like working with acrylic, I've never really gotten any type of a rash. Usually I just feel the itchy. And that's just when I work with it, with my fingers. And I'm talking hours and hours, just like sitting there for like 2 and 3 hours doing it. But washing it is a good way to help too. Fabric softener is really good. Using a lot of fabric softener. Kitty, get off of that. Mommy needs that. So anyways, what you can do and it's better when you're working with smaller hanks or smaller balls. Like if you have really sensitive skin, you can always put your yarn in an organza bag, and I usually rubber band it up at the top, and you can wash it and dry it that way, or you can let it soak in the sink and let it soak really good in the water using whatever type of detergent or fabric softener that you use, whatever you're comfortable with, and let it soak and kind of wiggle it around to loosen up any type of chemicals and stuff that are in it, and then put it in the washer and dryer. Now I usually use cold water. I'm okay with the cold water. Hot water, it can take the dye out, which isn't like a super bad thing. You just end up with a lighter color. And if you're super sensitive, it might be something you want to do, is to use hot water to help with sanitizing. Hot water, we usually do that to sanitize. So, I'm going to do a little rephrasing too. So that's what I did when I made my hand-dyed yarn. I baked it in the oven at like 215 degrees. And then I washed it in the cold water. And I did a double wash. I washed it, rinsed it out real good in my sink first, and then I washed it in the washer and dryer. And I used minerals to help with the color. And it was a very small amount, but that helps keep that color. But when you go to wash it, it helps loosen up all of the things that were in the yarn. It like makes it a little bit safer. The more you wash it, the better it is. As far as, you know, any type of irritations or, you know, skin issues and stuff like that. So just washing it really good helps. With the chemical dyes and all of the chemicals that are put into the yarn. And every yarn is different too. But I haven't had any problems. I haven't really noticed anything. And I really dug deep because there's a lot of different chemicals that other companies use in the acrylic to get different types of effects. So here's an example here. The anti-pilling. So it's really soft. It's nice. But there's a lot of chemicals and stuff that they use in it to get this effect, and I haven't really worked with it yet, but they put coatings on it. And when I looked it up, and I know it kind of sounds scary, they use different types of resins. I heard the terms polyurethane. I've heard the terms acetone. But if you have any types of sensitivities, the best thing to do is to wash it. And you can wash it like this. Just make sure you put it in some kind of a bag with a rubber band on it to make sure it doesn't escape. Because if your yarn escapes in the washer or in the dryer, this is what you get. You don't want that. So you gotta make sure you don't have any holes in your bag and it stays in, or it could end up like this. So yeah, they do use a lot of chemicals in the yarns that can cause skin allergies or irritations. And the best thing you can do is just wash it really good. And you can do that, like, it's better when it's in a small ball. Like the bigger ones, probably not, but like small ones like this, if you let it soak in the sink, you know, so it gets in there real good, you'd probably be okay with something smaller. When you go to wash and dry it in the ball form. Or if it doesn't irritate you too bad, like I said, what I normally do is I'll just use lotion and crochet my item and then wash it and dry it as well. And I try to make sure I don't use any fragrance. And I always try to use like the sensitive skin type of stuff, because a lot of people are allergic to different types of perfumes and fragrances. So what you can do is just, make sure you just wash it and dry it with whatever type of detergents and fabric softeners that you use to get all that type of stuff out of your yarn. Yeah, it's pretty scientific. And I thought about natural dyes, because there are people that are allergic to different chemical dyes, maybe even certain colors. You could be allergic to color. So they do have natural dyes, but even with the natural dyes, you can be allergic to those as well. So there's really no right or wrong way of doing it. Because I thought too, well, I could use natural dyes and try that, which I'm still interested in doing, and I might end up doing that in the summertime, using more of a natural dye. They're more expensive, and it's a really hard process to go through. So we might have to experiment with that, dyeing with natural dyes on a acrylic yarn. But like I said, you can still have allergic reactions or sensitivity to basically anything. It's really just a test to see what you can handle or what your body is comfortable with, because we're all different. We all have different things. As far as we get older too, our skin will start to get thinner, and we get more sensitive the older we get with our skin sensitivities and different types of allergies. And also, this is like with food too. Like, I'm starting to get, I'm starting to figure out different allergies that I have towards food. I'm allergic to avocado, and I've been allergic to that for a long time. Deathly allergic to avocado as far as eating it. Like, it's not fun. And I actually looked it up. There's only like 13% of people on this earth that are allergic to avocado. And I am one of those. It's really bad. So yeah, people can have different things that they're allergic to. I'm trying to think of what else I'm allergic to, but I know avocado is number one. So it really is just a test to see what you're comfortable with. And like I said, sometimes I get itchiness in my fingers depending on how long I'm working with the yarn. The fibers, just from working with the fibers, just makes your fingers itchy. Kind of feels like fiberglass. If you've ever been in contact with fiberglass, that itchiness, it's kind of like that. So like I said, I try and use lotion. and the lotion kind of helps with that. Or I take a break and I stop. But I've never had anything that was just so bad that I couldn't continue. Usually I continue it and I've been okay. I've never really had any type of a rash with anything. The only thing that I've had a rash with is OxyClean. That laundry detergent. That's the only thing that I'm really allergic to where I actually break out into a rash. So I think we're pretty safe. And I mailed out one for Billy for the auction. I mailed one to Nancy and I mailed one to Brian. The hand-dyed yarn. That's back there. I'm working on it. It's taken me a while to get everything set up. But this is kind of the way I did it too. Like when I order something online, I try to make sure that I get my money's worth too. So I put it in a big organza bag. You get 10 hanks of yarn, 2 of each color. And I'm going to charge $100 a bag. And I'm going to do free shipping on that. Because usually if I buy something online, I try to make sure that I get to that $100 mark. Because that too is where I kind of save on shipping. Like I feel like I get more of my money's worth that way. Not having to worry about the shipping cost. And let me see here how much yardage that would be. Break out my calculator for that. Okay, so that's like 1,500 yards. 1,500 yards for the 10 balls, the 10 hank balls. So that would definitely be enough to do quite a bit with. Especially if you're going to mix it with Big Twist, because that's what this is. This is just Big Twist. Put the purple on the top. It's just Big Twist. So you can mix your colors. And I decided to work on this item here. I'm going to make a little baby cardigan. And I'm using the soft purple and that blue color that I hand dyed. And I'm trying to do a hoodie right now. But that's kind of what I've been using. Just to get a little different color. Using these little stitch markers too. That really helps. Yeah, so I'm excited to see how this turns out. And I do have Dreft. It's a baby detergent. That's what I usually use for when I'm doing baby stuff. is the Draft detergent. Yeah. So I think it's going to turn out pretty cute. So this is what I'm going to be working on today. I did get my blanket done. I got that on my chair here. I went with this jade green color. Yeah. And I just put like this fun little green border on it. I got this done. Something different. Put that back on my chair. So yeah, I've been like working on everything. I can't sit still. I'm always running around doing something. I tell ya. So yeah, I'll probably start experimenting with the natural dyes maybe this summer. Because I'd still like to continue experimenting on the chemical dyes. Here, this one here is one that I had in the organza bag, and I washed this in the hot water, and the colors did fade a little bit, but it's not too bad. When I kept it in the organza bag and washed it in hot water, not too shabby. So that's like an option you can do if you have super skin sensitivities. And I'd like to hear back from people too, like, you know, what type of yarns you're allergic to or what kind of reactions you get, whether it be like the itchiness in your fingers or just itchy wearing it, or if you actually break out into a rash. I kind of want to know these things, you know. It's interesting. We can do a lot of like research and try to figure things out. It's very interesting. Everybody's different, but it's kind of nice to know what works best. Like, what is the best type of yarn? You know, what would be the best type of yarns to use? So like I said, I'm kind of interested. I've never worked with the anti-pilling before, but I know they put a lot in this chemical wise, and it feels amazing. I mean, it's super soft. It feels really nice. But I've never worked with it on my fingers. So I don't know. It's interesting. So I'm going to have to try that one too, the anti-pilling. There's just so many different types of yarn. Like, I've worked with Bernat, and the Bernat's okay, but I don't like working with chunky, bulky yarn either. Some of the Lion Brand homespun, the real big chunky yarns, my fingers get super itchy because the fibers are more loose. So they just irritate my fingers more when I'm working with bulky. So I try to stay in the 4 weight category because it's just a lot nicer for me to work with. That chunky stuff, it's just loose. And those fibers, they can irritate your fingers. Even though, I have quite a bit of callus built up from working with yarn in my fingers. But with beginners too, if you don't have that, if you're not used to working with it that much, it takes time to build up the calluses, to build up that layer of skin on your fingers too. It's kind of hard to describe. It really is. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to get my shop going, and I got it up. And going because I am planning on selling the hand-dyed yarn. So I don't know if you can see that, but that's where I'm starting to set up shop for the yarn that I've dyed for the Manuela collection, in case anybody is interested. I just thought it would be fun to have some different colors to play with. And Big Twist usually has tons and tons of colors. And a lot of the solid colors too. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be neat to hand dye an acrylic to go with the Big Twist to get some different color variations. With you got like endless possibilities with it. But it seems to me like it's okay. Just like with any other type of acrylic. But like I said, everybody's different. You might have sensitivities to different types of acrylics and different stuff too. Like I said, there's different things they do to the acrylic. Like we've got this anti-pilling now. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways they process acrylic and different types of chemicals that they use. So it's just really hard to say. But it's very interesting. But I haven't had anything too crazy. Not on my end. Now, it could be different for somebody else, You just don't know. And sometimes, too, you think, well, if it feels good, it must be better. Not always true. Just because something feels softer doesn't mean it's better than something else. But fabric softener is my best friend. I love fabric softener. And I used a lot of fabric softener when I went to dye this yarn to make sure that it was nice and soft. And it's a little bit easier to work with too when it's softer. But yeah, I'm really interested in what kind of experiences you guys have had with different types of yarn. What kind of like irritations or allergic reactions has anybody had with yarn? Because so far the only thing that I've noticed is itchiness in the fingers, where it kind of feels like fiberglass, where it's just really itchy. That's the only thing I've really experienced. Is just itchiness. And there's a lot of different yarns that I haven't even tried yet. Like I haven't tried the silk yet. I have silk. I just have never I've never worked with the silk yet. I've worked with cashmere, I've worked with the wool. I've worked with cotton. I've worked with bamboo. I've worked with alpaca. I'm just trying to think. I haven't touched the silk yet, so I don't know what the silk is all about. There's just so many different types of yarn. And different types of fibers and different ways that people process it with different types of chemicals or natural, organic type of things. And it's just, there's not one that's better than the other or anything like that. It's just kind of like what works best for certain individuals. And that makes it really rough. That makes it really hard. It makes it really hard to pinpoint. So yeah. Anyways, I'm trying to figure out how to put a hoodie on this little baby cardigan. But I figured I'd do something to kind of show an example of my hand-dyed yarn mixed in with some big twist, to kind of give you an idea of maybe some smaller projects that you can do and how far 150 yards will go, especially if you mix it in a big twist. You know, you can do a lot with it. But I was thinking about small little projects that you can do with it. So I decided, well, I'm going to try and make a baby cardigan. So yeah. Well, I guess I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to get busy crocheting up a storm and taking care of my fur baby. He looks kind of sleepy, like his medicine's making him sleepy. I have Daddy put the pills down his throat because Mommy can't do it. I can't. I don't know what it is about giving pets pills. I can't do it. Like I probably could, like, if I was forced to do it, but I don't know. I have this thing about giving pets pills. Ugh. So I let Daddy do that. I feel so bad for him. I know it hurts when he pees, but he seems to be doing better. He's only got maybe a couple more days left of this medicine, and he should be okay. But we're definitely changing his food, and he'll be on this for life. We just, better to play it safe than sorry. So we're not gonna feed him any more of the Costco food anymore. That's a hard no. Yeah. So, all right, I guess we'll see you guys later, and have a good day. Get to working on your crochet projects. And I'm excited about the auction. I can't wait. And we'll see how things go. Alrighty. Bye.